But my first teacher when I was 20, I'm 70, so that's 50 years. I've been knocking around, meeting all kinds of people, and wearing all kinds of clothing, speaking all kinds of languages in all kinds of parts of the world. And I've come to see that that no particular culture seems to have they don't seem to have a copyright on profound ideas about the world.
Many people imagine spiritual work like something you do with your mind, in your head. Mm. But the real shamanism has to do with really putting your body, the entirety of what you are, out there in nature. Because the connection with nature is one of the primary sources from which you learn.
Victor was willing to take Philip on because Philip was open, had knowledge, was willing to learn. He wasn't just somebody looking to get high and have some crazy experience, you know. Victor doesn't advocate drug use at all. So he took him, I think, on a little sojourn the first time out into the desert, and they did some interesting things out there. Very interesting things. I couldn't tell you what they are because it's very private.
What Victor will do will put you in front of something and leave you alone with it. And you have to figure it out. And it can be completely frightening.
There's one beautiful thing about the mountain. There's a beautiful thing about the desert. The mountain, the desert, nature does not recognize your career, your accomplishment. You can be the president of the biggest company, and yet when you get to that mountain, the slope is not going to be easier for you. Nature treats you just as another human being, as another living being who is going to die.
At 65, I took on a big commitment with his work. Most people are retiring to the Bahamas and playing golf. And I'm starting to do something I never did before. Living in the wilderness and climbing mountains and all kinds of things. I was going up a mountain. Victor was gone way ahead of me. Eventually I saw him just way up there. And I see him just looking down at me. And I looked up at him and I waved and I continued to climb. It took me another 40 minutes to get to where he was. He was just sitting there. I said, what were you doing, Victor? He said, I was watching you. I said, you know, it was very hard. It was a very hard climb for me. You know, I'm 25 years older than you, Victor. This is a hard climb. He said, I had no intention of coming and saving you. What would you do? What would you do, Scott?
I have no idea. I hope I would have the nerve to put myself in that position of trust in someone.
Well,
because I mean,
Victor wasn't there to help me. I couldn't trust Victor. He wasn't going to come and save me.
Yeah. And what about when he buried you?
Oh, we don't talk about that.
Looking for the otherness, it's looking for the completion of what we are. It doesn't mean you want to reject the everyday consciousness. It doesn't mean you don't care about the everyday world. It doesn't mean you don't care about your business. No, you keep holding this part. Actually, by putting attention in the two sides, that brings balance and empowers both sides, including what you do in your everyday life.